see that there's a groove inside here to where this actually goes down in. And if you try putting it here, you're going to have to twist it. Because as soon as you twist, it'll fall down in. I don't think this should work. I wouldn't stand. Go that way, just to be on the safe side. Yeah, no. Because as soon as you start twisting, I mean, literally as soon as you see that metal tab disappear, water's going to start coming on.
If it's turned on.
Yep.
Okay.
And so what you do is you turn it. There's a stop in here where it's stopping at. Turn it to that stop. This head comes out and rotates around. We have it set up to go 360 degrees, so it doesn't stop. It just keeps going completely all the way around. It'll hit pretty much from in front of the plate, the corner of third, it'll hit second, in the corner of first. So primarily the infield. We will let it go around 2 revolutions. It takes 2 minutes and 38 seconds to do this. So when you do it, have one person stay here if you have to. More than likely, they're not going to let us do it. Even though we have these in here, it'll make it a lot easier, they won't let us do it. And then to turn it off, just twist that handle all the way back. And you'll get wet doing it. But the main thing to remember is look at the top of this. There's an arrow. Where that arrow's at is where the nozzle's at. So if you're putting it in here and you turn it, you're going to get soaked. And you're going to get hit with probably about, I think it's about 50 pounds of pressure that'll come out. So it'll leave a little mark on you. But like I said, I think Nationals this year is the first time that since I've been on the board that we've been able to water. But like you've seen out here, this does not come on because the water main is inside there. So let's say we did water after we got done. Look at the lid, because on the casing of this there are different size tabs. So you got to make sure you put it on the right way. So there's the larger side and then the smaller side over here. So you got to make sure you get that put on the right way. And you'll see water still coming out the top of it. It's just releasing the top pressure. So as soon as it's there, just push on it, cover it back up. Wish we could. Kelly won't let us. No. And it's literally, I wish it would have turned on, because it's literally 2 minutes, 38 seconds to make 2 revolutions.
That's all you need, right?
And that's all you need. Oh, huge.
I don't understand. I didn't need to go anywhere else. They water.
Yep. So then just kind of make sure you pack it down a little bit.
Want the rake?
Nope.
Is there a set distance on every field? Or you just
Every field they are, let's see, I think they're about 3 feet. About 3 feet. So that's a 43, so it's going to be right around 46, 45. And it's on every field. And the easiest way to find it, come right off that center part. You guys haven't figured out a pattern yet. Center plate on the home plate. Center pin for the marking of that is also the front corner of the plate, or second base. So, just like what I did, just start coming back and going with the shovel to find the lid, because it's going to be no more than that at the deepest one. So that is the water. We did a mound change. You saw how to do the circle. Put the circle in.
What is the mound change? Is that quite easy?
Oh yeah. So this is set at 43, and we're trying to get all of these reset in all of the settings, so that way if somebody for some reason takes a tape measure, we can still find it, but you have to know where we're at. So like this one gets changed after the first game back up to 40, so we know 40's here, and so then let's say we're going to play 8s or 10s is going to be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So you know that you're going to be coming up to 35. So, just keeping in mind, just look and start looking for the whiskers. So to find them, so let's say we get on a field where Put some chalk on it.
She'll take some.
And when you guys do the circle on the back side, or the pitching circle, make sure the nail goes in the middle on the back. And then if you have to do a mound change, it's from the back of the plate to the front edge of the pitching rubber will be your distance.
What, the back of the plate?
The back of the plate. Yep, back of the plate to the front.
Okay.
That will be how we gauge our distance. And the other thing, remember too, when you're doing the mound changes, you stand right in the middle of the mound, put your feet right in, since it's split into thirds, kind of. You stand right in the middle, that's where the presets are going to be at. So you'll kind of want to keep on a line somewhere in that area, because that will be where our tubes are at to be able to place the mound.
So we have mound sets at 35, 40, and 43.
Yep.
Does 16 and under play 43?
Yes.
Okay, they do?
14
14 and up are at 43. 12s
13s.
and 13s.
Or 35.
No, 13
40.
would be the
40.
same.
Actually, 13s are at 43.
Okay.
11s and 12s will play 40.
Is this written down anywhere?
Huh? Yes.
We just know that.
It's
written
in.
down
It's on the fridge.
Don't you know this?
As you get old enough, you learn it.
Then you
Right.
learn.
You
Yeah.
learn it.
You learn it in a hurry.
Right now?
Yep.
Where's the whiskers?
8 feet up.
Right here on the front edge. And then other easy way to remember that, if you, when you do the circle,
It should be
it's going
right
to
in
be
the
right at the front edge of the circle.
How'd you draw the circle?
The circle, we draw that in with this handy little thing.
Gotcha. Just draw it out like a compass.
Yep.
Exactly right.
Got it.
So nail goes in the back, stretch,
Right.
go around.
Got it.
And then when you're done,
Drag that and just chalk
don't
over it.
don't do this because it'll take you forever. Make sure nobody's around you. Just swing it around. Because if you wind it by hand and you miss a loop, it's not fun trying to undo it. And then everything that you need to do a mound change is always in this bucket.
I appreciate your interest.
So you got measuring tape in here. We got extra preset plugs.
Not right now.
And we have all of our, we have the hammer to be able to set the nail,
I waited so long, it was like a
our tool.
bigger tool.
Yep.
This plug tool.
So we were talking about what happens if you can't find the whiskers. Because you can run into some of these that are on. And I know for a fact that Vasily probably has a couple of them out there as well, because last time they did it, they knocked them off. So you'll still run into these.
On the whiskers, do you pull the whiskers out, or are they next to the whiskers, or what is
It's
it?
got a foam underneath of it.
Here, pull that one out and show
Yeah.
you. So that's what you got right there.
Okay, gotcha.
Or you can still see some of these. Guys. We're trying to get away from these because if they come up, they're
Right.
really.
Do they use those still for the bases, though?
We do in the winter time.
In the winter time, yeah.
Back up, Jaden. Jaden.
So
I
let's say,
picked up new whisker plugs. Usually where you'll run into problems is with the 14Us, because they're the ones that complain the most that it interferes with their stride. And I'm like, well, if you stride towards the plate, it's not an issue.
Right.
But,
because we had that, I can't remember what tournament we came out and we actually had to cut it shorter.
so, yeah. So you can cut them down and put them in there, but U-Trip has said they're not
Right.
interference. It's not an issue.
So let's say, because I know these guys asked the question, what happens if you can't find the plug? You literally just start digging. Don't dig a huge hole, but start, like I said, look at the pitching rubber and kind of visualize where it should be at. And if you have your tape stretched out, dig right around, because remember, where's the 35 going to be at? It's going to be on the front edge of the pitching rubber.
Okay, so
So
find,
you're going to
so
have
find
to come
that other
I,
plug. It should be here.
Yep, and it's actually right there, because he stepped on it. and smashed it in.
I can tell you an easier way is we have a metal detector in the back. So you can just bring it out and you wave the wand and the metal plugs will beep, and then you'll know where they're at. And you just gotta dig it out.
Or like a high-powered magnet, maybe. You could get like a magnet. It would probably maybe it would find it. Might.
So even with having the whisker plugs in, and if some of them are cut short, like I know there's a couple that I cut short, you'll still have to dig down, but once you hit them, it'll actually stop the shuttle. You're not going to be able to go through unless you're really crammed hard. So you just dig around it, and then what I usually do is I'll wiggle it back and forth, and then pull it straight up. And then now you're all set and ready to go.
And those are anchored into a cement block and underneath of there.
The presets are, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
They won't come out. The width of that shovel is actually the width of the rubber. So when you go to scrape it off, you're scraping it to the width of the rubber.
Oh.
What's different between softball and baseball is baseball has the mound usually sits on top of the ground. Softball, they like it even with the ground. So.
And it stays that way for about 10 seconds, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes, then you got a hole.
Still they start
So is there
digging
a metal
the
plate under here where you dig down to, or you just dig it down? and it
There-
goes in?
I think you could dig all the way down to the whatever. Are they individual or are those two connected underneath
No,
there,
they're
Gene?
connected
Are they?
by a metal
Um,
brace.
Oh, it is.
Yep. So it's a concrete block that runs the width of the rubber, and it's got two posts set in it.
So you're down way below where you really need to be then, right?
He's
Yep.
going way down.
I'm just going down so you guys can see the preset.
Yeah, they're not going to come out
So,
unless you hit it with a bunker rake.
yeah, in which they did that over on facility and bent it forward.
So that's why we tell everybody don't use the bunker rake inside the circle.
So like I was saying, I kind of wiggle them back and they just pop out.
Should be clean, right?
Yep, should be clean.
Is
You wanna
there a
hand me
magic trick to getting
uh,
that out of the ground to adjust
what?
them?
Dig all the way around.
Pry under
You
it
dig
with a
around.
shovel.
Dig
Can you
around
grab
it,
me that little
and whatever you
spade thing?
do, don't pry it up from the ends. Pry
Yes.
it up from the middle.
And don't get a manicure the day
Because
before.
if you, yeah,
Correct.
that too. If you pry them up from the ends,
Like, I'm not-
you'll start to bend the metal plate that's under the rubber, and then we're going to have a real problem. They'll jam. Yeah.
So you will find fields that where the plug has popped out and they just throw it over to the side. So now this preset gets full of dirt and you've got to reset for the next age group. This actually fits in that way, that way. It's just, it'll fit in any way you put it in. Just put it in, try it out. Once you got it cleaned out, get your insert. Put it in. And that's why you couldn't see it, is because when you filled it, you put some of the wet stuff on top, so that way it was down and over. Or you can have it up like that, it doesn't really matter. But then fill the hole in, which is, I'm gonna grab the rake column for Thomas.
So Josh, if you come down, like if the mill was here and we pitched over there, just were to rake it back.
Yep.
Okay.
So then once
Use a bunker rake.
huh?
Use a bunker rake.
No, bunker rake is that.
Oh, that's
The drag.
So once you get, yep. So once you get your mound set, and we're filling everything back in, and this is even the same for at home plate, because we're gonna have, Gino has the guys from the iCub that are gonna come out and help with us, and we have Thomas and Hayden that are gonna help. My daughter Aubrey's gonna help, and hopefully we can get a couple of the high school softball girls to help out as well. Everybody's gonna have an assigned job that they're going to be responsible for. So let's say my job this day was doing the pitcher's mounds and the batter's boxes. So once we get everything set, we got to tamp it down. What I do is I'll stand on the rubber, reach out as far as I can. we
that.
still have a little
Otherwise it
dip right
rains
up
and
in
it
here.
erupts it.
Don't be afraid to pull in some of the excess around to fill in that little divot and just pack again. And once you get it,
all of these going to be in the concession stand, or are we going to get some out here?
no, we'll leave them in the. Actually, they're hanging up on the wall in the shed, and there'll be one or two, depending on how they want to do it.
How
In the
much
gator.
are those?
These are about $80 a pop.
We should consider Urbandale has them on the thing. I think that
You think
people
they'll
would
walk
be
away?
more
Oh, yeah.
likely.
Just to walk away.
That's why we
But what if we put
That's
it on
why,
hooks during the
you see
tournament?
that we
Because
have
we did the same thing in Grimes.
nuts and
they
bolts
just
on
stayed
them?
there all tournament, just during the day, so they don't go back and forth. Can we buy just like little hooks? Maybe not,
that would be something we'd have to talk to the board
not this
about.
weekend. Too late now. But I mean
Done.
the next
Less
one.
than $500. Check.
So, okay.
I'm just telling you
So-
that, like, even after practice, I would rake it every single
It's on.
time, and I a lot of
All in
times
favor?
do.
Aye.
Not always if we're running late at that, it's
Aye.
out there. I'll teach my girls how to do this, and
Yeah.
I have them doing
second
it.
the motion.
Right.
Approved.
So let's say, now we got
Over the
the
microphone.
batter's box
Need
and
somebody-
pitcher's mound up. We have to start watering the areas, because that's why we've kind of transitioned going back to having our people do it versus having other people do it, because what they do is they just rake it and walk away from it. Especially on
No.
Kimball and Turk, where those brand new fields are starting to get those valleys in the right-hand batter's box. So once we get them raked and leveled, there's going to be water containers in the back of the gator. Everywhere that you tamp down, you put water. Don't get chintzy on the water. Go ahead and water it down, because it's going to be warm. It's going to dry up quick, especially on the ag line fields. It's going to dry really fast. Okay.
That's been a lot of the big problem I think we've had, really, isn't it? We got dry fields and they play on them, and we have practices all week, and then we don't water them, and then even if you're raking it in, you're just pushing powder into a spot, and it doesn't maintain it as well.
Yep. So the next thing we're going to look at is the bases. So we'll have one person assigned to do this. What's that?
It's also the can. Can of water. The big thing, I think they could do it after practice. They could beat up after practice.
So the other thing that Gino wants us to do, and they don't do this during tournaments at all, is you can see how this is where everybody slides, so the dirt's all the way to the top of the base. We want it down every game, down to the edge where you can see all the way around the base. That way the bunker rake doesn't have to try to get in real tight. So somebody's going to be in charge of dragging up what we call dragging out the bases. So they're going to make sure everything's all nice and neat around there, drag it out, so that way the bunker rake can just go right around and keep on going through.
Seems like that'd be a good job for you, Doug, driving the bunker rake. This would be a good job for you, just
Moving it.
moving it.
17.
Right. I tell you that night that they dug them up over on Rodis before Nationals,
Oh yeah.
it made a huge difference.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
It
if you
took a
look
while
at it
to
after,
even them out, but it gets really hard right there. That
if you look at
dig
it
it
after
up
a tournament,
periodically, it will.
there's a huge swale right here. And so when we get rain like we just had, first area that's going to pool water right there, because it doesn't have the. So this is what it'll look like when it's all said and done, minus the wetness.
And the
So
bunker
it'll
rake,
nice and neat.
bunker rake doesn't need to get within
Bunker rake?
any closer than that.
Depends on how well you can drive.
Yep. And it's going to be the guys from the iCubs that are driving the bunker rakes when they're available. Now, if they're not available, so we got these guys and all of us. So, really, if you can get it 3 feet out, there's no reason to even get closer than that edge right here with the rake, so you don't have to worry about hooking a base. Because if you hook a base, it's going to throw you off that.
Right. It turns tight enough though. Do you ever do this? I just come out 6 inches. I go right here, and then I whip it, and then I come here,
Oh yeah.
and then I whip it, and then I come here, and you're done.
Yep, I go a circle.
Do you do the
I put
nay-nay at all
two-
in there? Or? Sorry.
Just
I
the
put
width.
2 circles on it because I'll get real tight on it,
Yeah,
and just
I'll
go in a circle, and then
back.
and after I'm done, then I'll go back to the bases and rake them out. So at least if by doing it this way, by raking out the bases ahead of time, they can just keep motoring and get to the next spot.
Yep.
So that makes sense?
Yeah, and I like that you get actually closer to the base too.
Yep.
With the rake.
Right.
Is everybody comfortable with driving the Gator? Who has not driven the Gator before?
I have not driven the Gator.
Jump on there, Holly.
You drive
Yes,
it a lot
indeed.
harder.
I don't want to be
Is it?
videoed
Yeah.
driving the Gator. Doug, you gonna ride it?
Sure, I'll let it right over. You gonna
So I can turn fade up,
go
Doug.
hit a fence. You got seat belts in this thing?
Negative.
Yeah, that's good.
That just sits right there.
What's our inventory here, Josh? What do we got in the back?
So we
The young,
have.
the young boys have driven the Gator before.
Yes.
For real, you have.
Yes. So the small chalker, we use this to do the pitching circle and the on-deck circle. I guess I should tell you guys
That's a
about that.
2-inch.
Yep. So when you guys do the on-deck circle, it does not have to be huge. When I do an on-deck circle, I stand in the circle and just boom, done. I mean,
Hula hoop.
you don't need to have this ginormous circle.
Sometimes mine's about like a basketball hoop.
And quite honestly,
Makes you warm and fuzzy, right, Josh?
that's right. And quite honestly, they're not going to go in the circle anyway. They're all going to stand on the
That's what we learned
side.
is we never
Yeah.
put that.
Say you could draw a quick heart maybe just instead of a circle.
I
Yeah,
like
smiley
Bob and
face.
Smiley
Anyway,
face.
don't come
Yep.
and ruin the circle.
Yep. So now with the Gator.
Let me get up close to the controller. Okay.
So this is your transmission and gears.
Okay.
Down is forward. Up is backwards.
Okay, so I'm looking on
Reverse.
this side
Yep.
now. I'm not looking at these. I'm
Nope.
looking at these.
Don't pay any
Okay.
attention to this over
Oh,
here.
that's for this. Okay.
This is actually for four-wheel drive.
Okay.
A differential lock, which if you're having to use a differential lock during a softball game, we're in trouble.
Okay.
Now,
Wonky 1 year.
yeah. So go ahead and start it.
Start it
In the
neutral.
drive?
Yep.
Here?
Yep. Turn the key
All
to
the
the
way?
right. Doesn't start.
Oh.
Go ahead and pull the brake.
Are you sure I'm not going to run you over?
There's a reason Josh hasn't moved yet.
Go ahead and try starting it. Okay. Try starting it. You
Gotta
have
be
to have it neutral
Okay.
to start it. Now you do not have to have the brake on to start it.
Okay.
As long as it's in neutral, it will start. But when you guys get off it, put the brake on because you've seen at many, many tournaments what is all running around this place. Little kids. And if they figure out, oh, turn that key and it takes off. So make sure you have the parking brake set because most kids are not going to be strong enough to lift up and push that button and to lower that brake down. I'll go ahead and start. Okay. Now you start.
Okay.
Now you have to put the brake down to go. Now, before you do that, this is your brake up in here.
That's gas over there.
And that is the gas.
All right. Okay.
It's literally just like driving a car. Put it in gear, push on the gas.
Ready?
Pretty easy, right?
Okay. Neutral.
Parking brake, and turn it off. That's all there is to it.
Do we ever get to use the dumping thing?
No, not when we have all this
This
stuff.
is just headlights?
Those are lights.
And this is nothing?
That's your tack hours. Your gas is over here.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so I got a question on that. So who's in charge of filling all that stuff up? Will that be like Gene do that during the
That-
week?
We'll fill it.
Or you
We usually fill it Friday before the tournament.
The prep thing.
After we get done, that's the last thing we do is we fill up all the equipment. Now during the, are you guys on this field, Joel?
We're supposed to be, but could you fill that hole in before we start practice?
No, everybody's
No.
got a bat lefty tonight.
Yeah, everybody's going lefty. But during the
Can't
tournament,
score.
it's the
You can't-
responsibility of
can't
the
get
grounds
home,
crew
yeah.
to keep it full.
So
Does
there
this have
are
a low
gas
gas
cans.
light that pops up?
Field,
No, you
is
can.
there a field that's
And
off
quite
limits?
honestly,
I think we'll be
There
done
with
before
a gas
too
can in
long.
the back?
you won't have to
Going in the
fill.
outfield.
this.
I think we will
So
first.
so it's okay if we
I think
play
so.
here? Okay.
We won't be too much longer here.
No.
Probably will.
Are there
we?
gas cans in there then?
There are
I mean,
gas
but
cans
not
in
that-
there.
And then, so how would we?
They're labeled.
How would we pay? How did they like if it?
They'll be full before the tournament starts.
Okay, just in case these guys are like, oh hey, we were out
And
of
if
gas.
for some
and-
reason it's not, call me, Gene, or Holly, because usually those guys have got it set up to where I'm closer to the park, so I just run down to the park real quick, fill, or they tell me where to go to get gas to charge it, and then I go, come back, and
Yeah, I just in case somebody
yeah.
was.
Where do you
Most of
fill
the
them up
time-
at? Where do you
fill
take
up at
it?
Casey's?
Casey's.
Casey's
Oh.
over here?
Yeah,
Casey's,
I just got gas cards for them.
the cases
Okay.
over here,
Gas
the
cards
one,
that-
any of the cases.
You just drive it over there and fill it.
No, we got 2 5-gallon gas
Oh,
tanks.
okay.
And it'll
gonna
take,
say, yeah,
I
right
think
around.
that's like an 8-gallon tank, and that is a 5-gallon tank. That's the only thing that you need to keep an eye on for gas, because it has on top a clear top part to the lid where it has a fuel gauge on it. But right now it's pretty cloudy because it's old. Probably need to order a new one, so you can't really see it.
Gotcha.
But the fuller it is, it spins the needle, and the lower it gets, it turns it back the other way.
But generally speaking, it should go a whole turn. If you fill up Friday,
That will not go a whole
it,
turn.
it won't. Okay.
No, because keep in mind, you're starting from outside the base paths, going all the way to the grass on 6 fields,
Yeah. Okay.
possibly 7. Do you want to drive that out? Awesome.
Don't hit any kids.
The one thing that I usually do, and like Gino does, he keeps a spare set of plugs in here, and also
There's that.
a little tool.
You call it perfect tool.
Let's go over to Quinn since nobody's over there, and we can drag, play on the drag over there.
We're gonna start practicing in a second. Once this hits the ground, then you go the next notch lower, right? If you're dragging with this,
If it's a really rough,
if you need to dig
hard,
it up or hard, yeah.
but after the first game, I don't even know if I would put it down.
After the first game.
After the
But
first
when
game.
you're dragging them and feel prep for the first one, because a lot of times
First,
it's
so
harder.
like let's say we play tomorrow,
Yeah.
I would have this thing digging in.
Yeah, right.
But then, like the noon game,
Otherwise, it just gets to be dust and you don't get the dirt.
yep. And then like the noon game, then it's just the paddles that I would
Foot
have
on
down.
the brake to start.
Nope, don't have to have your foot on the brake. You just have
Oh,
to
yeah,
have
then
it
you
neutral.
neutral, gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right, I'm with you. Figured that would be a good experience.
You're not gonna fix that.
Slide in it, sliding practice tonight.
You guys slide, go and
That's all
slide out.
Josh.
You need a truck?
How long would it take if you just did it? Do
Take me
your
like 3 minutes.
how many?
About 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's just do it here then, huh? This is a good way, because that's the one thing I do not know how to.
That's why I'm gonna
Yeah.
win, so that way everybody can.
Just drag it while they're warming up.
Well, let's go over afterwards. Do the, give us the walkthrough here, and then
Are you gonna rake it while you're dragging? Yeah.
All right, you guys want to find out how you want
You guys wanna find out on this?
give us the how-to on this, and hit it quick, and then I'll have that captured here, and then we can go over and try it quick on the other field.
So
Just drag this in.
the red pedal is the brake. Do not go fast on this on the cement, because keep in mind it's 3-wheel steering. If you start veering one way and try to overcorrect, you're gonna throw yourself off, and this thing's gonna go out of control and hit a fence. The brakes on these, on any of these bunker rakes, are not the best, just because they're intended for golf courses to be used in a sand trap where you come up out of a hill. out of a bunker. So, on the left side, you have two arrows. You have an arrow pointing forward, an arrow pointing backwards. So, essentially, you can use your own imagination to it. Forward, backward. You have to be stopped completely before you put it in gear, or else you're going to hear it
Why is it
grind.
clunk like that? Is there not? You have to just be at a complete stop, otherwise it will make that grinding noise and that clunk.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and it'll
I've
clunk.
noticed you do that a lot.
That controls direction and speed both.
This is just direction.
Oh, okay.
The speed is over here with the brake. Just like your car.
couple times.
It's somebody else. Yeah, I heard it from another guy. You know, one of those.
So your gas pedal has to be neutral to start it. Same thing with Gator. You just start it. And if it won't start, it's not neutral.
Where's neutral?
Where's it? Oh, in
Neutral
between.
is in
forward and
between.
back.
Sometimes
Alright.
it's hard to get it in neutral. You think
Yes,
it's in and
you
it's
gotta
not.
find
so you saw it with Josh. It was down all the way. If you can't get it in, it won't start. Put it down all the way like Josh did, and then just barely tap it so you get a click.
Real
That's
sensitive.
neutral. Like riding a
There's
four-wheeler.
two levers over here that you can use. This is in a lock position right now. That's for the front blade.
Is there a trick to getting that thing up?
Nope.
Once I lock it, just flip it up.
Yep.
Alright.
Just gotta lift up on that red piece. Go. This is the one will be the only one that you're gonna really be concerned with if you're doing a morning drag where there's a crust on the field. This lowers the scarifier. So what you want to do, pull onto the field. Once you get on the field, lower it down. Once you feel the pressure, go one more notch. And then you start dragging. After the first game, if it's not crusted, I would probably just use the paddles. To lower the paddles, there's a toggle switch right here on your right-hand side. And there again, it has an arrow pointing forward, an arrow pointing backward. That's your up arrow and your down arrow. So to lower it, push all the way down, listen for the click. It's down, all the way. And when you raise it up, there's the click.
Is it always just all the way down, all the way up? Is there never any in between where you don't want it all the way
You
down?
won't go in between because you won't be able to, you want to have it all the way down so it's free floating. And once you're dragging the field, when you're done, don't stop on the field and raise it up. Pull out through as you're coming out off the field. Lift up the scarifier, but slow down before you guys start doing this. Lift the scarifier all the way up, and then as you're driving toward the gate, start raising the paddles up so you don't get a big pile of dirt on the foul line. And don't turn out into the outfield with the paddles down. Because then all you're doing is dragging all the dirt to the outfield. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty easy?
When you were done, you want to bring it over on the drag Kimball, or you can't.
All I can.
There you go.
All I can.
There you go.
Um,
Thanks, Josh.
And then
Yep.
how do you? Is there a technique that you would do? You start infield. How would?
I start, when I drag fields, I will start on the outside and work my way in.
Like along the fence line,
Yep.
and then along the.
So like this field, as I pull on this field, I'm dropping everything right at the gate. I'm going along the edge of the fence, along the edge of the grass. And if you go along the edge of the grass, go slow, because there's areas where there could be washouts and you'll get what is called a waffle, and it'll keep bouncing the whole time.
Okay.
So kind of go slow along there. Then I just keep making circles around the field. And once I get inside the baseline and get closer to the pitcher's mound, I'll actually cut back over toward the pitcher's mound, make a circle around the pitcher's mound. Don't drive over the pitcher's
Right.
mound or any of the preset plugs. Now the irrigation cap that I showed you guys, you'll be okay to drive over that as long as it got refilled in. If you don't want to, that is completely fine as well. Then I just keep working my way out And then once I get tied it back into my line, you'll just keep going, and you gotta finish off all the spots. So you just keep going in a circle. And as soon as I get everything done, I just swing real wide, come back to the edge of the grass, and out the gate.
Perfect.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
I'll drag this one. I'm just gonna go in front of the pitcher circle, and so you can see how I go out, because behind the plate's a little wet, and I want to stay out of the water.
You guys are here this weekend then, right? Oh, you're not? Oh, okay.
Thanks.
So this weekend we're looking for like sign up.
No, next weekend.
Huh.
Yeah, that we were talking about that this morning. You know, this weekend should have been the weekend of break.
I couldn't believe that they were doing this for a weekend that would happen if Doug wouldn't sign up and play. He's going to be itching to go out. That's the first weekend. This coming weekend, right?
Yeah.
You just never know at the fall if many people will sign up for tournaments, period.
Great. But it's a little plug that you pull out, right?
That's not too hard. But yeah. You know how to draw the circle around. Yeah. Just with the pitching rubber, you just if you're getting it up out of where it's at right now, don't start flying on the edge. Try to. There's a metal plate in it. You just don't want to go around the edge and bend that out. So. Now he went from the middle and going out. Now he went from the middle and is going out right now. Where he starts outside in.
Yeah, so everybody has their own little like techniques on how they do it. You know, kind of like driving a Zamboni, you know, you gotta have, you know.
Right. Yeah, so he starts on the outside, push everything in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you're in the inside, always going out, you lose all your material.
Yeah.
And then the big thing also is that if you go out in water, you end up with a gator and make make sure you water the pitching area, because otherwise it gets so powdery and